So today we're going to be looking at all of the defenders from fullbacks to centre backs. We're going to go through them all and see who should you be going for. There's a lot of shapeshifters out there and most definitely a lot of team of the seasons, but there's also some that could definitely hold their own still. Theo Hernandez is got to be the easiest one that you'd throw in there. He more than likely is guaranteed an upgrade at some point. He's bound to be. He's 1.7 mil as a track star. Now obviously this is due to the fact that he can go into a few of the evos or has had multiple evolutions that he could have gone into in the past. So it's kind of one of them things that eventually he will get another upgrade at some point. So he's going to be one of them that is still probably in the top meta with the right evolutions. Not necessarily everyone, because sometimes they're still not great. Also in this list, we are going to be more realistic with this. We're not going to go beat around the bush. We're not going to say, okay, Di Lorenzo, he could be a great card that you could throw in and maybe be okay. Realistically, no. He's going to be bog standard, and he's just not going to be that much of use. He's going to be usable at the very minimum. Sometimes I'd put these players in very usable. Same as someone like Trent. For me, I don't think he's that it. I really think he is absolutely rubbish. In terms of a right back, with how I play right back and how a lot of people do, he hasn't got it. He just doesn't have it. Incisive long ball jockey, it doesn't work for him in my opinion. Now, when he does get the brand new Real Madrid Trent, that more than likely is going to be a well decent card. It's going to be an upgraded card. It's going to be potentially thrown into a CDM, a centre mid, maybe, but most definitely it will be an upgraded card that should hopefully give us a solid amount back for an actual Trent card. So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for El Dorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website, and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with El Dorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. Then we kind of look down the list a little bit. Furpo, again, another one that might be able to give you something, but realistically, Lynx, it's just not going to happen. He's kind of got a semi-decent card in himself. Incisive, again, as fullback, I'm not necessarily a big fan. Jockey's there, anticipates solid. He's got some decent stats. It'd be nice with a position change, potentially. I think, again, if you're looking at it from a perspective of not having a lot of icons in your teams, he's not necessarily going to be there. So I'd personally go with a miss with him as well. Alba, more than likely, is going to be the same. I do think he'd be one of them ones that is just there for Messi, more so than anything. He has got the rapid, the tiki-taka. It's a semi-okay card. But again, when you look at the top level that we're looking at for these fullbacks, it's going to be very interesting to see who really kind of gets into that top. Obviously, someone like a Walker would be more in that Evo. If anything, you're not necessarily going to go too crazy. Onya would be in the miss. I'd say Mendy could throw himself into the Evo. Obviously, Thuram is going to be up there. Carlos, to be honest, I mean, you're probably looking at an Evo for him, but with whipped pass and dead ball, I'd possibly just be waiting for another upgraded card anyway. I mean, you could go Evo just for the name, but he will definitely be an upgraded version. Cafu will be the exact same for me. Militao would be the same for me as well. When they can go into them Evos, that would be that next sort of level for me. So then you've kind of got the likes of your Alfonsos, who most definitely put himself up into that top category. 100%. And you also have a little bit of João Neves as well. He's another one that has come in as a random right back. Now, obviously, he might play right back for Portugal, which is fair enough. But in terms of the card itself, he's obviously battling with his great centre mid card that's now coming in at 200,000. Obviously, both with the quadruple. You've got the incisive on both. You've then got jockey anticipate first touch versus intercept tiki-taka and also first touch as well. So it is more defensive, obviously. You can still play the centre mid role as well. So whether you're doing that for the centre mid instead, always interesting to see. He obviously has the right mid plus plus that you could put on him as well. He's an interesting one. I do think as a right back, he might not be the greatest positionally. As a centre mid, he's absolutely up there. But I think in terms of a card, he's got to be put up with the best of them. Lucy Bronze would be thrown in the bin, in my opinion. Carvajal, I think is probably he's really past his prime, hasn't he? I mean, maybe I'm being a bit too harsh for not necessarily even just the usable for some of these cards, but realistically, if we've got Carvajal, he can't go more than usable. He's got to go somewhere there. I think maybe you could argue that like Firpo could be up that one more. DeMarco, I would definitely say into more of the very usable. Dumfries, I don't get it with Dumfries, honestly. Like, I've kind of go through a lot of people's kind of opinions on them as well. We've seen a lot of pros utilising this version of Dumfries, and then obviously once he got upgraded, he got more Evos, it was just even better. And this card is kind of like another extension of him. He's got the Interceptor, the Bruiser, and I still don't get what makes him that good. Like, genuinely, as a right back, I don't know why he's that good. He just plays brilliantly. Whereas someone like Frimpong, I think they kind of messed him up a little bit. I really think he could have been better. He was an SBC, obviously, and I think he was decent, but he was 709,000. Dumfries came out the week after and felt better. I think Frimpong was, for me, a bit of a miss. I mean, I'd possibly go usable. I don't think I'd pay that much for him. I think that's the problem that I've got, is if he was 200,000, I could possibly put him up a little bit. But the fact that he's so much more expensive, and yet he's so much worse than a Dumfries, I can't put him anymore, in my opinion. It's just, it is what it is for him. We then obviously have the likes of Gossens. We have a few of the lower ones. Obviously, Grimaldo didn't really live up to the hype that he was. Gossens come in and he was decent. I mean, you could definitely go for a usable level. Grimaldo was about the same. He was decent enough, but he didn't really have too much. Cancelo was kind of where they really picked up again. He was kind of just a solid Portuguese player that gave great Ronaldo links. But realistically, most of these would be at the minimum, it would at the maximum would have to be just usable. Sakina would be the same, and to be honest, her team of the year would kind of be roughly around that sort of level as well. You're obviously looking at kind of poor playstyle pluses, but great stats and great ability. Kirkes would be the same. Koyunde would also be the same. Lala on himself, I think, was probably the better of the bad bunch, to be fair to him. I actually really liked him for a very first card. Like, he's going to be in an Evo very soon, which I think will be worth it. I just think he's kind of that, he's almost that right back that really shows up. And that will definitely worth his weight in gold, in my opinion. We then have the likes of Maicon, Zambrotta, Zanetti, no thank you, will definitely be in the Evos very soon. They will put themselves into the 1 and 2 categories, in my opinion. They're just very easy. And you're definitely getting the kind of link here that most of the good fullbacks came from them UCL upgrades. From all of the teams that won, they all got 96 fullbacks. So they were always going to be very questionable whether they are going to be well above the team of the season or their playstyles are just not as much. And I must admit, a lot came in pretty well. We obviously have Lewis Skelly. I think he was a great versatile player. And then we do have the likes of Grealish and also Lehman. Now, obviously, Grealish came in at level 15, rapid, press proven. Obviously, the pinged pass and incisive and intercept does have the centre mid and right mid, so he's still got outs compared to just playing fullback. But he did get a decent level. I mean, you could definitely get a bit of usability out of him, and I think it mainly comes from the quadruple playstyle plus more so than anything. Kind of similar with Lehman. First touch, rapid, then obviously having the relentless, the jockey, the anticipate. It's more having the quadruple that you'd probably go as a solid card, but I realistically would say she kind of is on that level with Grealish, but it's really Grealish that you more than likely would choose in this upgrade. We have, I can't even pronounce his name, to be honest. We have Stanislav, I think is how you pronounce his name. You've got him as a 94 left back. Again, standard, nothing too crazy. I think he's quite an easy one, to be honest. He was just there, really, more so than anything. We also got Swanson, who, it's a shame that I think she is a bit of a miss, to be honest, because I do think with a 93 kind of full birthday with the Evos that you can go, she plays so much better on the wing than she ever will as a fullback, even with the 96 rating. I would most definitely prefer her as the fullback. So you could maybe get a bit of usability, but not much. I think she would be pretty much out of the question very, very quickly. And to be honest, the UCL ladies were very much in that similar sort of category. They just didn't give that full upgrade where we're going to go against some of these UCL cards. They just were, unfortunately, pigeonholed below them, in my opinion. We then also have the likes of Semedo and Nuno Mendes. Nuno Mendes has so many upgrades that you can choose from just because he did win with obviously PSG. He got a team of the season and he got the Nation League. So he got a 95, 96 and a 97. And that 97 is outrageous. It's a phenomenal card in itself. He is beautiful on that top of the list, and to be honest, I do think the 96 and 95 are most definitely still two cards you definitely want to have a look at. I think this 96 is definitely not one to be spoiled with. He's most definitely a brilliant card. The 95, I could argue like you get a bit of very usable there. You're not necessarily going too crazy, but most definitely that Ultimate Nations League one is incredible. We also did get Semedo. He's most definitely not been in any choice of upgrades at the minute, and he went from 78 to 96 just like that. 248, a solid card. Again, like I say, most of these are coming in pretty well. We've got so many solid upgrades, and Chelsea most definitely reaped that benefit. Cucurella, Reece James, obviously them getting a Gusto as well. Some of these cards are phenomenal in terms of that option, and I think they are hard to get, so prices might be that little bit more expensive because of how difficult they were to get. It's not as if they were giving out all of these cards, but Reece James definitely kind of stood above the rest in my opinion with these. I do think Gusto and Cucurella are very good options, but I would say that James stood out. Hakimi obviously is going up there with the best of them in terms of a right back. He was what we were waiting for. But then even Pedro was another one. Pedro and Dogi and Spence all coming in very, very well from that upgrade. And it is, like I say, a shame that Man U didn't win. It would have been lovely to have a 96 team. But Pedro with a great upgrade. Obviously, then you have the likes of Spence with another solid upgrade from 72 to 96 is fantastic. And Undogi was always destined to get a solid card. I think as a left back, he really puts himself up there. Right back, we had quite a few decent ones, but left back was definitely an option that we needed. Beckham, unfortunately, as a right back, only goes into that very usable for me. It just physically cannot be any more. Which is kind of the fullback portions. I believe we're now into a lot of centre backs, which, to be honest, are very, very easy to go with anyway. So kind of starting things off, obviously we do have the UCLs that we'll kind of try and keep towards the end as well. But obviously you're looking at Virgil. You go through the centre-back list as well, in fact, because you can kind of see the levels of prices of players as well. You can kind of go through here. So you see a lot of the 97s now, we can see Virgil will always be on top. You know with centre-backs, there's always a set formula. Virgil will always be number one. That's without a question. You could put him as a 94 and you could have Bastoni, Romero, you could have Lukaku, you can have Beckenbauer, Rio, all of them at like 97, 98. Virgil will always be top in that level. It's just what it is. That's how they've made him in the game. Then obviously Romero, great card. If we do go by price, I'm interested to see where everybody's fallen. But then you see Pacho, great card obviously. Yap Stam is obviously up there, but it's a little bit more based around the SBC price. We do have Thuram. I must have put him in the upgrade. So we have got some more fullbacks to go with as well. Yap Stam is obviously up there again. He's going to come in. We've got Lucio coming in. Plus then a few more Van der Ven, Saliba, the standards coming in through there. So you can kind of see team of the seasons a little bit on the lower side if anything. You've obviously got Saliba coming in, Marquinhos. So you've got a lot in that lower sort of category, that middle category. Like Saliba now, I would say is still going to be out of the price of a kind of medium bunch. Is still going to be one of the best centre-backs. Same with Bastoni. Same with Upamecano. Same with Tar. They're coming down at the lower price, which is fantastic, but they are most definitely still some of the best centre-backs in the game. Gabriel would be more in my very usable, and some people could argue between them that Saliba and Gabriel are both very good in the game, but it is just something when it comes down to animations. It's like you could throw a Davinson Sanchez in there. He could be quite easily a 99 rated card with the best ever on everything. You do the exact same for Virgil. Unfortunately, Virgil will always come out on top. The animations make a lot in this game. So if we just kind of go through a few more, Kim Min Jae would be a little bit down, and Dika would probably, to be honest, you could possibly go with an Evo, but again, you've got to be realistic with yourselves. When we look at Teo Hernandez, we look at Walker, Mendy, Carlos, Maicon. These names are massive. They are going to be the names that you would pick out as a fullback. If I had the choice between Ndicka or Rudiger, Van der Ven, a Virgil, a Saliba upgrade, I know who I'm going to go with. So unfortunately, as much as Evo would definitely sort him out, he's just not going to be Evo'd. Martinez, just not going to be there. Otamendi, probably not. Rudiger, he got an upgrade. He definitely needed something, but even then, he's kind of just, he's in the background. He's nothing too crazy. He's kind of just always been a background player more so than anything. Even with the 96 was nice during the Euros. I think that was a solid card. The striker was decent enough, but it was kind of just the Real Madrid version of him that really stood out, and that was purely because it was something different, more so than anything. He's just never been the star in a team of the season or in any sort of version, so it is interesting to see. Jimenez wouldn't be missed. Vivian would be there as well. Again, you're looking at kind of standards. Maybe you got a bit of usability purely on the fact that she's 96. Mapillon has always been good, but would be kind of down. Simikan would be the same. Again, the 96s would just be because of their rating more so than anything. Corey, definitely not. We do have a few shapeshifters. Even Vertonghen, he had a chance, but realistically, he's not going to be there. Hummels would be in more the usable category. We do have a lot of versions as well to go through. So if we do zoom out one less, we can obviously see the likes of Romero, who I think is phenomenal. A very, very good upgrade for him. And the same as Van der Ven. Van der Ven has always been waiting for that upgrade, and we finally got there with it. We didn't think we would, because he had his, obviously, like a Teo Hernandez, an 86, and we've been evoing that card mentally, but we needed a full upgrade, and Van der Ven has definitely got himself that. Unfortunately, no anticipate yet, so an evo for him with an anticipate would be brilliant. I think then you look at the likes of a Danzo, it's kind of just underneath a little bit, like he's very, very standard. I'd say he'd be very much like the female league. He's just there. He's not necessarily going too crazy. But then we do have a few in the Chelsea boys. Obviously, Badashile coming in with himself a 211,000 card. Decent stats across the board as always. I mean, you don't really need to look at stats too much. Chalobah coming in, I want to say, was it a little bit higher rated, higher priced at 530. Does have the anticipate, intercept, and long ball. Plus, then he does play right back as well. So versatility will always be fantastic for him. And then finally, with the centre back boys, we do have Colwell as well. Again, coming in at a solid price. Incisive this time, still having the fullback, so they're not necessarily going to be too crazy on the rating, but I'd say you've got two of them out of the three coming in that very usable side. And then we do have the PSG boys. Obviously, Marquinhos would go there, Pacho would go there, and Lucas Hernandez is still a sensational upgrade you can go with. Schlotterbeck, I'd probably put down the bottom, and Pau, I'd do the same as well. Maybe with Pau, I could put him one more up as a usable, but realistically, as a 93, is just not going to be there, and there's going to be quite a few misses now. Like realistically, Harry Maguire, we've got a few of them from the old set. Marquinhos would be usable. Pavard is there, I think versatility, but you've got a lot of the kind of older team that is just going to be, unfortunately, a massive miss. Like you could get a bit out of Carragher, but realistically, you're not. It's not happening. Blanc, I mean, use maybe an Evo for Blanc because of name. You do still have the Maldinis and everything. Evo, obviously, for Matthias is always going to be there. Virgil van Dijk would be in the top. Garcia would be the miss. King would be a miss now. Kimpembe. Cordoba would be as well. Singo is not going to be there. Carvalho. We're going to see a lot of these cards, to be honest, that are just, they're very standard. They're nothing too crazy. Gomez might be a potential Evo because of the name for Liverpool, because he didn't get any sort of upgrade other than this version. He might be evoed at some point. I do have two Lucios in here, actually. Throw one in the miss and see how many people comment. You've missed a Lucio. Obviously, he'll be in the absolute meta of metas. Barsagli, no thank you. Baresi, no please. Dan Burn would definitely be not in there. Alaba, no. Ruben Diaz has finally got a big upgrade. Sol Campbell, no. Gabriel, no. He's got a better version. Desai will be upgraded at some point. Upamecano has a better version. Yapstam is a big yes. Delit for Man U fans could be an Evo. I'm just going to go there for the bias of myself. And hopefully make myself feel a little bit better with Man U, especially after having to talk about Tottenham so much in my life. It is unbelievable. Then we've kind of got a few of the kind of the utmost best. You've obviously got the Maldinis in there. Matthias we've got again. We might as well throw 2 in. We do have Pacho coming in. We're going to go up here. There we go. Let's zoom out one more, which then should be able to fit most of the rest in. We have got another Maldini, which is crazy. We got Evo definitely for the 92. Yapstam, I think, would be another Evo. Arejo would be dropped down now. Maybe you could go Evo because of the name. I think you could definitely warrant him as more of a name than anybody else. We've got another one of him. Have I just done doubles of everybody, apparently? Then, obviously, going through, we got Barsagli again. Renard, I mean, you could potentially get a usable out of her. She definitely should have been better, but realistically, at the price that she's coming in at, you're going to be very difficult to kind of add any more than usable, especially with the level of cards that we've got going forward. We've got a no, we've got a no. You got a usable, I would say, from him. Yapstam, we've got another one, we'll throw him. And then we've got Lucio, who obviously puts himself up. Like Maldini, he's a classic. You'd go very usable for Beckenbauer. We've got no, we've got Virgil up the top, and we'll put him at the bottom. Pacho, I think we've already done that. And Tchouameni, I mean, as a centre-back, you'd be looking more for an Evo now, more so than anything. I think because we haven't got the 94s yet, I'd go usable. But, I mean, he's definitely in need of an Evo if he's going to play that centre-back role. Which leaves us with a few of the obvious shapeshifters and also Nation League winners. We did get a Ruben Diaz, a final good upgrade for him, which is always nice. And then we did have a few more in there. We've obviously got the 2 other centre-backs coming in. We've obviously got Goncalo, 750, solid variant of him, 5-star, 5-star like the rest of them, which is nice. Don't know if I'd quite put him into the absolute top. I think price-wise is coming for the fact that they are very difficult to get at the moment. So I would go more into the very usable, more so than anything. We then also have the shapeshifters, Loftus-Cheek. I mean, some of them obviously being the higher levels. Like Loftus-Cheek is a fantastic one for right now. But if you're going to actually get him, that's going to be the big question. He's level 30. So even though we are, I think, either got there or very close to getting there, I just don't see him being that level in my opinion. We do have Oblak coming in from, I believe, the season as well, level 25. Again, another one that you could get a bit of usability out, but realistically, it's not going to be anything more than that. Loftus-Cheek, I would go 1 up there. Lukaku, I would do the same, and the rest of them, I would be looking more towards the usable, but it's only going to be the gimmick of usability at the moment. So that is going to be the list for today. As soon as I zoom out, that would be absolutely brilliant. And there we go. Let me know down below what you think. I'll move myself. Hopefully you did enjoy, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.